4, 3, 2, 1. And this is Shot 30 Podcast, and I am Shane Newbert, and today we have a very special guest in the studio. Miss Chris Noble is here, and Chris Noble is a pageant mom. She is...
Yes, I am.
Well, I've got a couple of things here for you.
All right, let's hit it.
Actually, you don't realize that we have a history of something that happened at one point. I was working at this place, and you came in, and you went there to eat, and you were so mean to me. Yeah, it was in 2015. You'll never remember it because I was just a baby. But you were so mean to me. It was at this place called McGillicuddy's. Yeah, you were so mad that we didn't serve alcohol, and you were so mad.
How did you? You must read my Facebook.
What are you talking about?
We did go there. So how do you own a bar and restaurant in the heart of Galesburg, Seminary Street, and you don't serve alcohol? Like, what in the actual?
Well, I mean, it was brand new,
Now,
right?
the food was good. No, it had reopened. Well, so it had reopened as a different name. But
clearly, I'd never actually worked there.
The food was delicious, but yes, no, they did not have any alcohol to serve that night, and we were like, "What?" You know?
Yeah, and you were
Your palate needs just a little wine or a little spirit.
I want to go I think everywhere should have booze, including McDonald's. You left a very strong review on a McDonald's at one point. 32 minutes. I was there for 32 minutes, and
was that following the Luke Bryan concert?
I don't know what day it was.
Literally, okay, so
you were mad.
How in the world?
That was a strongly worded opinion.
Yes, so my grandmother, growing up, owned a mom and pop restaurant in Orion called the Orion Cafe. Best cinnamon rolls you're ever going to eat in your entire life, and I can mimic them to just about perfection.
Okay.
Should have brought some with you today,
that would have been nice.
I'll have to get some this way. But coming from a mom and pop store, service is important, right? That's what keeps people coming back. You get good service, you come back. You get good food, you come back even more. Now, we're talking McDonald's, so good food's out the door. But good service is what keeps you coming back.
Yeah. I mean,
32 minutes in the drive up.
Man,
that's crazy. Now, I will give them this. It was following a Luke Bryan concert, but here's where it gets wild.
Where was the Luke Bryan concert?
The iWireless Center, what is now the Tax Slayer Center in Moline. Yes.
So why was Galesburg busy? Oh, no, that was in Morrison. Yeah, your McDonald's experience was in Morrison.
Well, we've had a McDonald's experience in Moline too. But in Moline, we went through the drive up. And they obviously McDonald's about one every 3 orders gets them wrong, right? So only the drive up is open after the concert, and I pull out, and my daughter's with, and she was like, "Mom, they put she likes cheeseburgers plain. They put everything on it," and I was like, "Well, shit! Like we can't just." Go back, I'm not gonna wait back in line. We just waited forever to get through. So we walked up to the drive-up window, which, if anybody doesn't know this, is a no-no. And they're yelling at us, "You can't walk up to the window." I was like, "You effed up my order."
if there would have been the term Karen that day, do you feel
that would have been me? Yes. And Morrison was a little bit the same, but it was just following a high school football game. So how do you not know that you're going to be busy? It's a football game night, right?
I mean, people make mistakes.
Well, whatever.
Listen, I'm going to ask you a question. You need to give me an honest answer.
Okay.
So you've had an order fucked up at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And you've
haven't we all?
Yes, and you've went back to complain,
but nicely, hey, can you just make this right?
Yeah, and throw it at him, whatever, spit back on him, whatever. But have you ever you order 5-piece chicken nugget and they give you 6 nuggets and you went back and just you went out of your way to go back to tell them,
no.
Thank you so much, McDonald's, for adding in that extra nugget.
But do you know why? Because they wouldn't take it back.
What do you mean take it back?
You can't take back the extra nugget because it's already in your hands.
No. I mean, but to be thankful for that extra nugget.
I probably should have. That would have been nice.
It would. That's a nice thing to do.
Thanks for the extra nugs.
Yeah. There was actually...
Thanks for not doing your job well today and the extra nugs.
Thanks for losing your company money. But there was actually... So when I'm trying to remember. I think I was working in Galesburg, living in Macomb, and I would stop at the McDonald's in Monmouth. Monmouth, however you say it. And there was a guy, he was notorious for being like the stoned midnight shift guy.
There's always one.
But he would say, if you hook me up with a tip, I'm going to hook you up. And this guy like was notorious for like giving like you give him a $5 tip, you have like ordered 2 cheeseburgers and a McChicken and you get 20. I mean, you would get 2 full bags, apple pies for days, and this guy was awesome. Yeah, you could snack for a freaking week on this guy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he was awesome though.
Did you tell him thank you?
Oh yeah,
There you go.
I started leaving him like $10, $12 tips, dude. This guy knew I was one of his best customers.
Here comes Shane with his 80-piece nugs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And I mean, he would fill up a bag of just all the sauces, and I collect
And
those.
the sauce is delicious.
Sweet and sour.
Buffalo.
Wait, McDonald's buffalo?
McDonald's buffalo.
All I thought was they had the red. I know they had the red hot. Those were trash. Those spicy
remember
nuggets
that.
were just soaked. You know when they came out the
were
spice,
so good.
they were they were just soaked in Frank's. I didn't hate
They
them.
were, but they were so good.
Well, did you ever partake in all the like spicy chicken battles?
No.
No.
Spicy nugs is as far as I ever took it.
Wendy's had some good spicy nugs.
Yes. Okay, so do you ever watch who is it? Eats Everything.
Are you talking like an adult film site?
No. OMG.
Hey, you signed up for
isn't
this.
isn't there there's a YouTube channel that my kids watch and it's
Are you like talking competitive eaters or
yeah.
like LA Beast? Or
and they like try everything on the menu. What is that called? My kids, where are you at? You know this.
Try everything on the menu. Well, we'll just put up a picture of whoever the hell you're talking about, right? Bink, there.
There. Yeah, whatever their name is.
Bring that over here. Your cup.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we gotta get halfway there, right?
I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, we've watched that before where they eat everything on the menu. It's disgusting. But it's so you have to keep watching.
Just like they eat one thing after another?
Yes, they eat the entire menu.
Now, do they have to eat fries with each thing on the menu, or they
No,
only
like they'll
have
have
to
the
eat that
fries,
once?
and then they'll have like they'll do like we're gonna eat all the chicken sandwiches. So then they'll have the spicy chicken, the regular chicken, the breaded chicken, the unbreaded chicken.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if you were, let's say you lived in Matherville, out in the middle of nowhere, and you had to pick 4 restaurants, I'm going to say fast food. Just because it makes it more like, I mean, I'd be like the Pink Flamingo in Bayfield, Wisconsin. Yeah, like that's never going to happen. 4 fast food restaurants that would be your go-tos. What would they be?
That are within proximity of Matherville.
Yeah, like 5 minutes out because you don't want all that traffic through town.
Dude, there's nothing here.
There's a gas station and a post office. So yeah, you just gotta see. I picked my Elite 4 today, and my Elite 4 would be.
So does Milan? Do you include Milan in that?
I'm acting like nothing else in the world exists other than
But
Matherville
Matherville.
and 5 minutes away where there's 4 fast food restaurants.
I don't know what they are.
No, like you have to pick your favorite. Like what would your 4 be?
Oh, what would
Like
my 4 be that
your
I would
Elite
bring
4.
here?
Yes,
Oh, okay. Taco Bell, because everybody needs a Taco Bell.
absolutely. You got a Taco Bell,
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey
Have you ever
Mike's.
had those
I've
sandwiches?
never had that.
You need
But I
to
just
go.
had Blimpies or Blimples or like.
Blimpies is good. Jersey Mike's is my number 1. Jersey Mike's hits the spot. Buffalo chicken, add bacon.
Okay, I can do that.
Delish.
No ranch, correct?
No, they put ranch on it. They do blue cheese, but you can swap it for ranch. So I
Gotta
swap
ask
for
that
ranch.
question.
Yeah.
I'm not a ranch guy. I got to stay away from that stuff. It's
Really?
gross.
Why?
I'd rather drink Fireball off the floor. You know, I dropped a bottle of Fireball the other
I don't
day.
like a lot of ranch, but with buffalo, anything, a little bit of ranch is cool.
I just think why would you you're getting buffalo for that heat and the sauce. Now why are you trying to like mild it down with ranch?
I don't like a lot of it.
I think it's a bit cowardly, if you ask me.
Valid.
Cheers with me. Okay, so you got Jersey Mike's
Jersey
and Taco
Mike's,
Bell.
Taco Bell.
Come on. You've had what? You were born
And
March
it doesn't
20.
it doesn't have to be anywhere here. It can be I can be Whataburger. I'd bring Whataburger.
Absolutely,
That's
yeah.
delicious.
And you were born March 22nd, what, 1974?
1974. Ooh.
Yeah, so you've had a long time of
I have had a long time.
experiencing all these restaurants. You should be able to pick right away.
I should.
So,
Charlie's Subs.
Charlie's Subs, you're picking 2 sub places, huh?
I'm a sandwich girl.
See, I gotta put
Like
a
Joey from Friends.
I gotta put a Dairy Queen in there, KFC, Dairy Queen, KFC, Arby's, and I just think I got to go with the either Taco Bell or McDonald's, but I think I just got to go with McDonald's because, man, sometimes that basic cheap, it's just what
the
you're
dollar
looking
menu.
for. Yeah,
Yeah.
that dollar menu is not a real thing anymore.
They
now.
don't have it anymore. I
Nah,
know.
yeah.
Inflation.
Yeah,
Sucks.
even the dollar stores, where everything's $1, now everything's $1.25. Yeah. Are you part of this whole and I don't mean to call your coworkers a cult, but the cult of couponing?
No.
I am. Whoa,
Nope.
Heather's piece of shit ass got me into it. Now I can't stop. I'm freaking out.
nope.
I'm stacking coupons on coupons.
To me, I am quality over quantity.
Okay.
So if I buy a quality item, that means more than whether or not I saved $10 on a shitty item.
But what if you bought
what I mean?
quality item and saved
I'm all for
a
that.
bunch of that, a bunch of money on
But
that?
a lot of the extreme couponing is just junk.
Maybe, yeah.
You know what I mean?
What we're couponing
It depends what you're couponing.
I agree.
know what I mean?
I've been couponing for toilet paper and
Yeah.
laundry soap and shampoo, conditioner.
The basics I think are okay, but I think when you get into clothes and shoes and different stuff like that, you can find a good deal, and I'm all for a good deal, but I'm not going to buy, a $10 pair of Amazon jeans that are mock
Yeah.
whatever just because they only cost me $10 when the first time I bend over, I'm going to split the ass out of them.
Well, I mean that there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a lot of
my
people.
husband would be okay with
Yeah,
that. He'd be like, "Woo!"
the easy access, huh? But I was okay. So I don't even know what I did, but Goodwill's already. If you need deals on clothes, go to Goodwill, and so that's that's there for that. But when you're spending, the other day I bought a $50 bag of dog food. It was massive. It was huge. Filled up my truck. But normally I spend $50, and I walked out of there for $17. It made me think to myself, how much do they really spend to make this bag of dog food?
Exactly. Because if you can sell it for 17 and you're still making money, then how much are you raking us over the calls for the 50?
Yeah.
The mental math part of it can get you.
Yeah, and I'm obsessed with numbers, so I can start processing now this coupon stacked on this coupon stacked on this, and I'm gonna walk out of the grocery store and you're gonna owe me money. That's where I'm trying to do that for everything.
And there are people who do that and then stack the stuff in their basement. You know what I mean?
And they sell it at farmers markets or the
what?
doomsday. They're gonna have clean sheets with no power in their house.
I don't have time for that. I work 40 hours a week. I go to school 18 credit hours a week.
I did want to talk to you about that. Did you get it? Did you go to college at all before?
So I went to college out of high school to get my paralegal degree, and then Blackhawk, shame on you, and I'm going to give you the finger, dropped the paralegal program about I was 6 credits shy of graduating. And then
They credited you back for all that. They had to have, right?
Well, I got all my credits, but I didn't get the 6 credits to get my certificate to be you know what I mean? My associate's degree to be a paralegal.
That's so messed up. They should at least let everybody finish what they wanted.
No shit, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, then I fell in love and got knocked up 3 times with my wonderful kids. I love them. I wouldn't trade any of that for the world. And
You wouldn't trade it. You wouldn't trade them for
a
peace
Tesla.
and quiet.
No, peace and quiet. Nope.
You went with a Tesla. I went with peace.
A lot of people are like, you know how much money you'd save if you wouldn't have had kids? You could have a Tesla. Dude, I could have way more than a Tesla. I could have a $400,000 house. But
Hell yeah.
no, I think being a parent is probably one of the most validating and empowering experiences of my entire life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's wonderful. And whether you're a parent, a step parent, it doesn't matter. A foster parent.
Creepy guy just looking in the windows.
If you're being creepy guy, that's a little off. But I think it's just a wonderful experience. I wouldn't change the way my life progressed for anything. And then I just recently, we discussed this. This is how you got back into school too. So our work offers a union program to go back to school, and I did that. I'll have my bachelor's degree in December.
Good for you, bachelor's.
Yeah. So to me, it was more of I did it for myself. I didn't do it to promote or to get a better job or anything like that. I did it just to know that I could accomplish something like that. Mm-hmm. And then I also did it. I have 3 girls. I did it for them. My youngest two are still in college. My middle daughter will graduate next month. So sad. And then my youngest is a freshman in college, and my oldest graduated in 2020 in the middle of the freaking pandemic. So she didn't even have a college graduation. But I did it for them because at their age, when you're young, you're not always sure what you want to do with life.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes things change. And sometimes, okay, so you might get a degree in business management, and then you're like, I don't really want to run a business. Like, I want to be a graphic designer, which is what my middle daughter is. You can always, I wanted them to know you can always at any age go back to school and get your degree. So I will have my degree before I turn 50. I'll be 49 when I graduate. And it's probably one of the most amazing things I've ever done for myself.
Well, that is awesome. And I do so you started back at Eastern Gateway now.
Yep.
And were your kids already in college when you figured this out?
Yes.
And does that devastate you because they could have had a bachelor's degree for free?
No, so I offered it to them.
But they can still always use it moving forward.
Right. And
with a shit ton of credits.
Right. And I let them know, like, hey, you can do this. Now, a lot of people complain, about the college experience. And my girls wanted the college experience. I did not get, obviously I went to Blackhawk. I did not get the college.
Are you in and around on this one?
Yeah, I'm in.
Do you want me to just pour it and then you sit on it or whatever you want to do?
So they wanted the college experience. I did not get the college experience because at a community college, you don't get the college experience at all. You know what I mean?
You can. You
can, but when you're living at home and you're commuting back and forth to community college, it's a little harder to get the college experience. So they wanted that, and we pretty much laid it out to them. If you can get the college experience for less than this amount of money, we're in. So
you paid for their college?
So we did halvesies. So they halved and we halved. And we felt like that was a good experience for them.
It's a very fair trade.
Right. For them to be a little bit accountable for their education. And then we were a little bit accountable for their education. And I will say, and my girls were not valedictorians, but they were all three high honor roll, good students. And they all, Avery's going to Iowa State for less than what we could have sent her to Illinois State for. Gracie's a fabulous artist, a kid who never took an art class in high school.
Cool.
Never.
I actually just took screenshots of her stuff. I'm going to put some of that up right here.
She's amazing.
The circles, it's like an abstract type deal like she had done. Maybe
super cool.
Maybe I saved it on my computer. But yeah, it's very cool stuff.
And this is a kid who never in high school never took an art class because our art classes, and sorry, I don't mean to knock my high school, but our art classes were very...
Is that Orion then?
Yeah, okay. Very behind the times, in my opinion. Like, there's no graphic design courses, which is what her major is. So there's nothing out there for them to get that experience, and it's all drawing and, the fine arts part of it. And I get that. Like, you have to have that foundation to be able to promulgate into the bigger art projects. But, She secured a scholarship. She actually applied for her BFA as a sophomore, and that's a Bachelor of Fine Arts. And most of the time, you don't get that as a sophomore. Usually, you're a junior or senior before you're accepted. She was accepted first try. Never had an art class in high school. Wow, that's incredible. And then received scholarships her junior and senior year because she was, one of the best students in the classes, which were almost, $3,000 and $4,000 scholarships off of her tuition. Well, that's amazing.
It does make you think that why are we not, honestly, they should be teaching like a class on content creation and social media marketing in high school now because it's one of the biggest things out there. There's so many people making a full living off of
social media,
content creation and stuff like that.
So that is my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter, Hannah, graduated from Iowa State with a public relations degree and a minor in political science. And she works for a firm in Chicago that they work for. They have Department of Transportation. They have the tollway. They just signed a big contract with the Department of DHS.
Is that what when you started with the state? You started at transportation.
I started at state police.
Oh, okay. Yep. And then you went to transportation at some point or no?
Nope. So I was...
Because you've been all over the place.
Yes, I kind of have. So I started my career Gracie was a year old.
2007.
No, 2007. But in 2001, I started working for the Henry County Sheriff's Department.
Oh, gotcha.
I was a dispatcher. And then in 2007, I left and went. I was highly recruited, which isn't supposed to happen, but I was recruited to go to state police. I was a good dispatcher at Henry County. I'm not going to be ashamed to say that at all.
Why would you be?
Right.
If you're good at something.
I mean, you ask the better ones to come there. So I went to state police. I tested. I was in the middle of chemotherapy at the time. I failed my first test because I took the test the day after I received my first chemo treatment. What an idiot.
Chemo for what? I mean,
So I had bladder cancer at age 31, a very rare mucinous adenocarcinoma of the bladder.
yeah,
Very weird.
let's just put definitions of all
Yes.
those words up on the
So
screen.
I had this big ass tumor that took up 80% of my bladder. And so
Did it hurt?
it didn't hurt, but I had to go to the bathroom all the time. I worked 5 minutes from home. This is so terrible to say, but I would leave work at 11. I worked 3 to 11. I would leave at 11. I lived 5 minutes literally from work, and I would pull off to the side of the road and go to the bathroom
On the road?
on the way home.
On the road?
And it would be like a dribble. And that's when in my head I went, something's not right. Like that just doesn't make sense.
And if you do that enough, maybe, was the adult diapers not an option? Because I would just, if I'm doing that every day, man.
Like it just was very weird. And in my head, and I tell people this a lot who ask about, like how did you know that's what you had? And I said, because you need to become so familiarized with your body that you have to know what is happening.
Uh-huh.
And so I will tell you, I went to my general practitioner who was a quack job, so we'll just say that.
Donald Duck?
Out of Cambridge. Yeah, he was terrible. I went to him 4 times, so 4 months in a row. And I was like, I am going to the bathroom all the time.
Something's wrong.
Not right.
And
that
something's
he would
wrong.
take a urine sample and then give me antibiotics. And I'd be on my way. So month 4, I ended up going there. And I was like, hey, and same thing, something's not right. And they said, let's do another urine sample. And they did. And the nurse ended up calling me at home and she was like, this is really weird. And I knew her on a personal level. Like she was friends with my husband. And she said, something isn't right because I looked at your urine cultures for the last 4 months and there's nothing, there's no infection. There's nothing going on.
Did you sue them?
I should have, but sometimes when people say the big C word and they tell you, dude, this is weird, this is freaky.
Yeah.
You're so in tune with, like Avery, my youngest, was 2, and so
That's
I
what
was
I was going to
more
ask. How
in
young were your
tune-
kids? Like you're young. So she's your youngest, right?
She's my youngest.
So
yes.
yeah, so 2 right.
So
in
they
the
were
middle
7, 5, and 2. And so in my mind, I was more concerned with getting healthy and living than suing. Could I have? Absolutely. I wouldn't be here on Shot 30 podcast. Probably if I would, I'd be living in some mansion in Florida.
You'd be sponsoring the show.
But hindsight's 20/20, and so I just try and tell people, be really comfortable with knowing your body and knowing what feels right. And so when she called me and said, this is not normal, you need to call somebody, I called my OBGYN because who else would you call, right? And I said, something's not going right. He's like, well, are you having any, sorry, it's a female thing. Are you having any bleeding? And I was like, no. Like,
Are you really apologizing for saying the word
I know.
bleeding?
I
literally
shouldn't be.
just did a period party episode like 3 weeks
And
ago.
so, like, I would explain to them, like, it would be like almost like a pen touching my hand. Like, that's how much blood I could see. And he called me in, be here at 2:00. I was there at 2:00. He did an internal ultrasound. He's like, you have a tumor. I'll never forget that day. I'm laying on the table, and he has this shit jammed up my vag. And he's
Well, you
like,
can't say vag on here.
well, he did. And he said, you have a tumor. And I was like, what?
Oh, your heart just sunk.
Yeah. But I can remember it's yesterday, looking in my mirror when that lady called and told me, there's no infection. We've been giving you antibiotics and there's no infection. I remember hanging up the phone and looking in my bedroom mirror on my dresser.
How'd you look? Did you look good?
Yeah, it looked good. But I looked in my mirror and I looked myself in the eyes and I can remember to this day looking in there and saying, I have cancer. I knew. I knew there was something so effed up in my body. And I can't explain why. I couldn't tell you. But I knew in my heart something was definitely wrong. So I feel like people really need to be comfortable with their bodies and know when something doesn't feel right and then push that envelope with your doctor.
And you know, like especially with what I've read recently on your like reviews and stuff of businesses,
Yes.
you have I'm not saying
I'm
that
passionate.
I'm not saying that you are Karen, but I'm saying you can be Karen-y. You think
Definitely.
maybe so that but Karen-y means like you're just saying what you want to say, or but sometimes you feel what you know you're feeling and you think the way that, and I respect people who so much that are like, no, listen, I'm telling you something's wrong. I've heard that so many times. Something is wrong here.
Yeah.
And then people are like, no. And then it's always that person who there is something wrong.
Yeah.
Like they just don't. I've talked about it, especially medical stuff. Like I'm not shitting on. There's a lot of great doctors. There's a lot of great things. But when you know that something is not right, and you have to you have to sometimes be the Karen that says, "Listen, I know I know that you're so smart, and but I'm telling you that this isn't right." You know, in no way do I mean that out of like any disrespect. Like Karen is just a very silly.
And you know, like Karen is one of those words. It's almost like a trigger word for people when you say Karen.
But it also has a second
I feel
side.
like it should be something that's a little bit embraced. Like that we should all have a little Karen that lives inside of us. Like we should never be afraid to express how we really feel. Because what's the shame in that? If there's shame in that, then why are we doing it?
It's so I did this photo shoot, and I could have just let it all die. Like I got these weird messages, you know, like I was wearing like, we'll put my sexy pictures up right here.
There you go.
But then when people like said weird things to me,
Yes.
like, are you gay now or are you going through a thing? It was like, I can just I'm really good at just letting things go and disappear. But it was one of those things for me that I was like, you know what? I'll step aside for a second. And so I want to go with, like, it started with the angel wing photo.
Yeah.
That's why I was like,
And are angels only women?
I don't know, but I didn't care. I didn't care. And I wanted to prove my point by being more aggressive and I guess, I don't know. I just wanted to shut people up because you don't get to speak for me. You don't get to decide what's going on in my brain. I'll express myself however I want to. I will do whatever I want to. And, you know, like, kind of like what you did. You felt a certain way, and that's how you feel. And no one else can tell you, no, something's not wrong.
And you shouldn't have to validate how you feel.
Yeah.
To me, that's wrong. That's wrong in every way, shape, and form that someone requires you to validate how you feel. How you feel is how you feel.
But that's our world, man. Like it's
It
our
is
world.
our world.
And it sucks because it doesn't matter. You know, I'm not a political guy and I never will be. But it's like I had one friend say, well, if you vote for Donald Trump, then you don't care about me. And I'm like, I don't even know I don't know anything other than you fired at that point. Because I don't watch the news. I don't watch anything.
And I think that's a good thing. Like, I wish more people didn't. Like, I think you need to be informed, but you also need to know what's bullshit and what's real.
And I'm a super dumb guy. Like I'm not a smart.
You're not dumb.
I just know that, especially towards politics, if I actually wanted to understand politics, then I'm going to be needing to read stacks and stacks of books and study people and know them throughout their history of their life. Not like I can't just vote. I can't go walk up and vote for some guy I've never met, never spoke to, don't know how he treats his wife, how he feels about his kids. Like how is he as a neighbor? How is he
the whole big picture?
Yeah. Or like, oh, he says you can have guns in your house. Like, oh yeah, do I love that? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I I don't know. That's why I just can't do it. I can't vote. I could easily vote on, do I believe that people should gay people be allowed to get married? I can easily vote on that. I can easily vote on, what my opinion would be on like an abortion. I can easily vote on those individual topics, but I can't vote on a person that is. We're all chaotic. We all have a million thoughts.
Absolutely.
We all
100%.
go on. There's days that your favorite food in the world may be a hamburger that day, and the next day
It's a
you
taco.
don't. Yes.
Yeah.
Like so do I want to base like every day I'm going to give you a hamburger even though you want a taco today? Like
Yeah.
it
And people won't accept that. Like, society is so self-involved right now that they won't accept the fact that people can change their mind from day to day. And if you go back throughout history, people have always changed their mind. And why wouldn't we be able to change our mind? That's the beauty of life. What today I might be completely into, tomorrow might not be. I might experience on a different level. And so tomorrow, it doesn't really mean so much to me. I guess when it comes to politics, and I don't like to talk politics either, I place my voting not on political party, and I've had people argue this with me, and so you can, because it's not, but I
a
vote
lot
on
of our
whether or not people do they seem true to me? Do they seem true to their values, true to their core? Do they emulate a person that I would want my children to learn from? If they don't, I'm not going to vote for you. Period. The end. Whether or not you're saving me money or not saving me money, and I won't even get into that because you have to understand economics to understand why things ebb and flow, but everything ebbs and flows. Things are good in the Republican world, things are good in the Democrat world, and vice versa. It's just a matter of timing and how things roll out. It really is.
I would vote for you for president in a
Right?
heartbeat.
Hell yeah.
In literally 1 second, I would vote for you.
Yeah. My feet would hurt because I'd kick ass every fucking day.
Hell yeah, that's good. You know what? I got a
Cheers
little
to
bit of
that.
that one. Cheers. And what are we? Is that number 2? Oh, you're slow. Is that 3? Oh shit, we're 1 away from your limit.
Yep. We're almost there. But that's what kind of brought us to being here today was your angel wings and body image and empowerment and
Well, if you would have sued, then we would have never been
We
here,
wouldn't
as
have been
you
here.
said earlier.
well, we might have been on a West Palm Beach or something cool like that.
that'd
Have
be-
a party like the Brooklyn Beckhams or something.
Have you heard of all? Wait, before you go into that, hey, Shot 30 Podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Cashbox, YouTube, all those things. Please like, share, subscribe. You guys have been awesome out there, leaving the reviews and doing all these things. It's really making a huge difference on the page. Thousands more views and downloads than we've ever had before, and I really appreciate it. Now, so you do photography.
I do.
And do you do more of just kind of like graduation, sports events?
I do more. So while my kids were in school, I did sports events. I figured if I'm there taking pictures of my kids, why wouldn't I take pictures of everybody else's kids and share them? Because to me, being able to experience those things in the moment is so much more valid than being behind a camera and trying to just capture that moment. Since I could capture the moment, I wanted people to experience the moment for their kids. Do I have 180,000 pictures of Avery doing flips for 4 years? Absolutely.
Yes,
do I
you do.
regret it? Not in one bit. Like, I go back and I look at those, and I'm not going to lie. She is a phenomenal Tumblr. She does some amazing shit, and I will never understand it in my entire lifetime. This was a kid who had so much energy at age 5 that I took her to tumbling classes just to make her sleep at night.
Yeah.
And she found something that she loved. So it just became a passion for her. Took her at age 5. By 5.5, she was flipping on her own. By age 18, she's knocking the socks off of people in the stands at games. It was just fun.
So is that? Doing a flip is scary.
It is scary as shit.
Like watching a child do a
So
flip.
have you ever watched any of her videos?
I just seen all the pictures, and I saw some of the pictures. Like, what?
So
in the
there,
world?
she does some weird shit. So she would, and she decided all on her own that she was going to do it. So for tumbling competitions, she would do like a round off backflip, and then they call it a whip, which is just a
Nene.
no-handed. It's not an aerial, but you just kind of whip your body over and then back and do a couple of handsprings. And then she would do a tuck, which is a no-handed, tuck your feet under, backflip. And then she would flip, flip, flip. Again, it's wild. I miss it so much.
There was one woman, I'm going to hack this up, but I believe her last name was Ohani or Otani. A couple of years ago, she was like a big dancer as she performed gymnastics like all over, and she was just breathtaking. But my favorite thing about her was how much fun she was having while she was doing it. And it made me, there's like a major debate about like men's basketball and women's basketball, professional basketball, and my opinion on it is just, if you want women's basketball to be more popular, we need to have viewers. You need to have that revenue. There needs to be sell tickets. Like if there's
have cheerleaders, sell tickets, do anything.
If there's a tax layer center and you can promote, I'll go. Like it just has to. I mean, when you're talking, LeBron James sells 1 million jerseys last year at $70 a piece. Well, yeah, that means there's extra money. And so, I mean, I wish that every sport was like that. But there's like moments that can make people fall in love with sports, and that's what we need to push. Like, so this Otani girl and Ohani or what, she was amazing. It was breathtaking. And it was something that really drew me to it. Now I follow like Simone Biles and she's breathtaking. And then I get to see her show up at a baseball game, do a backflip and throw a pitch. It's things like that bring the views and the audience and stuff like that. And I just wish that all the sports would continue to push like that.
And I feel like, for high school sports specifically, nothing gets, like a high school basketball game, nothing gets people pumped more than a slam dunk. So you get a kid running down, because it doesn't happen very often. You get a kid running down the court and slam dunk, that place is going wild. It's hand in hand, you get a girl who takes that floor in a timeout in a close game, and she's doing 12 backflips and crazy shit down the floor, you're going to get that crowd wild. So I don't care if you're out there going, go Big Red. Go Big Red. Like, that's cool too. Mm-hmm. But you get that girl flipping down the floor.
Absolutely.
You've just elevated it to a completely different level. And lots of people will argue that and say no, but it's the athleticism. I will tell you this too.
So true.
So our high school, our cheerleaders are not considered athletes.
That's unfair.
So they don't get to opt out of gym. Because they don't compete. Okay, so her senior year they did, but let's revert back to freshman through junior year. Since they didn't competitive cheer, and competitive cheer is an IHSA sport, they were just sideline cheerleaders. They didn't get out of gym class. And I will tell you, Avery practiced every day after school for at least 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the fact that you don't consider them athletes and that they have to perform gym class. Now, granted, she loved gym class and plans on being a gym teacher, which makes 190% sense for her. It's wrong.
Absolutely.
Like, you're asking kids to get hurt because you're making them perform gym and you're doing practices 3 hours a night. I can say this now because she's no longer in high school.
But it's such a weird line. Like, and this is the type of thing where it comes down to one person saying yes or no. This is because.
But the marching band gets out of gym.
That's what I was going towards.
And I love marching band. I think they do a phenomenal job. There's nothing that makes a marching band performer more of an athlete than a cheerleader. Sorry, not sorry.
I'm 100% there. I totally agree. And now I just think that too, when I was in school, and I look at this more now than I ever did before. I was an athlete, a big athlete. Like I was good at sports, and I look at it now thinking, there was a kid, his name, I'm sorry, he's had to live with this his whole life, but his name was Brian Slutz. Did you know Brian?
No, but we had a Brian Butts.
Okay. Yeah, so Brian Slutz, he was an incredible drummer. And so the fact that he played football, but he was doing, when I think about Brian, I think about how incredible he was at drums, but it didn't set him up for being anything moving forward when we could have taken that idea and focused on that in school. There's a lot of things that we could have done, a theater, and instead of it's just like a quick snap of a moment, and we're not giving these kids, like, let them relish in the moment that is for them. When a kid becomes good at something, it's because they love it.
Yep.
Now that's something important moving forward. Not only one as a career. Yes, you need to know how to do math and speak English and write, but you need to be able to have something that is for you.
Something you're passionate about, something that drives you to be a better person every single day.
And there's nothing that changes me because I was scoring touchdowns on a football field from someone who's incredible at theater. There's no difference in us two. We just we both were good at something different, and we both equally should look at each other and support each other. But that also comes from the school and the ranks of what is important. Because you go to a school, we could talk about Orion, like Tanner Williams, about 10, 12 years ago. He was 6'7". He dunk 10 times a game, score 40 points from Orion. Yeah. And this kid was incredible.
Yeah.
Well, do you think more people were praising him and showing up to his stuff, or were they showing up to a kid doing theater, like doing the Hunchback of Notre Dame at Orion?
Right. And it's changing the mindset. You know what I mean? It's changing the mindset of what is the most important thing that we can do for our kids. Mm-hmm. And it's support them, regardless of what they choose to do. So we should, if you want kids that come support your kid playing basketball, then you should support kids that are in the arts. You should support kids who are in drama club, who are performing in plays, who are, doing the, music nights and all that stuff. Like, why is one more important than another?
Yeah, there's a schedule, and it's at every gas station. Oh, the Orion football team, it's everywhere you walk that you hear about the foot. But are you hearing about jazz night, or it's stuff like that, or why artists, even talking about your daughter, and they have art night and stuff like this that they do where they're posting their art, and why is it different? And I do say that TikTok and stuff like this, the social media platforms are giving children and people and individuals ways, because it's more niche based. I'm only known on TikTok for having a 3-foot fake penis that I sewed onto my pants. But there's people there's 18-year-old boys, I've watched on there that just do backwards basketball shots, or there's beatboxers, and there's people who can walk on their toes, or
people who can cook a certain way or decorate a certain way. There's all
or tell jokes a certain way, and these people are reaching a niche which they would never have, because and then it gives them a little bit of power too. You get a 17-year-old boy who's got 10 million views for playing the drums on a book. He becomes somebody. He walks around and people envy that, which would have never been in older times like that.
Have you ever followed the guy on TikTok that does the piano wedding entrances? Amazing.
But piano wedding
totally.
entrance.
So he will do so you have to put a spoof up there, but
I don't know what a spoof is, but we'll put a spoof there.
He will do say Little Mermaid. And so it'll be Kiss the Girl, and he will do a piano bright, a wedding party entrance to Kiss the Girl. It's amazing. And I'm still waiting for him to do Hallelujah from Shrek.
Ooh, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Jeff Buckley's version of Hallelujah. Jeff Buckley before
they're amazing. Hallelujah from Shrek. Shrek is my number one favorite movie.
Oh, Fiona. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, of comedy, cartoon. On nights when there's nothing on TV, my husband and I will be found watching Shrek. Now, so let's ask a few questions. So
let's ask a few.
Favorite movie of all time?
Well, you got to remember that you graduated in the class of 1991.
92.
Oh, well,
Close.
91, 92.
That's when you were born?
I was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
I'm old. Cheers.
Yeah, so, now, so I'm going to be much different in my opinion of this, but, okay, so...
You will never guess my favorite movie of all time. Never.
Well, if I was able to just guess your number one favorite movie of all time, that'd be... I'd probably have some psychic, like I'd be on there with Long Island Medium and shit like that,
Yeah.
because there's literally millions of movies.
Yes.
So your favorite movie of all time would be...
I will tell you it is a classic and it's also a book.
50 Shades of Grey.
No.
You're part of a fan group, though.
I do like the 50 Shades of Grey series.
I did notice that. It's a classic and it's a book. How classic we talking?
We're talking extreme classic.
Oh, so you're talking like what is it? Was that Clint Eastwood? I don't know.
Gone with the Wind.
Never seen it.
Everybody should see that movie at least once in their
I did
life.
just watch Dirty Dancing though.
I do like Dirty Dancing too. Have you done the TikTok with Tim Marie?
Where we're like,
No, I'll talk to her about it.
"Had the time of my
Don't
life."
tell Shane about the TikTok.
Okay, yeah, we got it. So Gone with the Wind. How about let's make it a little bit newer age so I can get a feel?
Yeah, because that would have been like when you weren't.
Because the
even
last 5 times you checked
thought.
into last 5 times you checked into a movie theater, one was Endgame, one was Into the Spider-Verse, Black Panther.
So my kids love Avengers. I'll love the Avengers.
Welcome.
And I have girls. They cry every time. They are emotional. And I enjoy them. I won't say that I'm like super, super invested in them, but they enjoy them, which makes me enjoy them.
Okay, so like 7 Pounds. You ever seen that movie?
No.
That one is a movie that'll make me just rip to pieces, cry. And I know that he's in the heat of the moment in the world right now, but Will Smith in the movie 7 Pounds, it is so breathtakingly good. Woody Harrelson's in it. I mean, it is just one of those movies you can cry start to finish. Another one of my favorites is Pursuit of Happiness, another Will Smith movie of just pure heartbreak because you feel everything that he's feeling. This guy, he's broke, but he's so smart. And he's selling these new computers for like medical purposes, but they're outdated.
Yeah.
And he knows that he has to make a life for his family, and it's by selling those things. Well, he leaves one on a bus. They cost $4,000.
Yeah.
$4,000 is enough that they won't eat, and it's just a really powerful movie.
I think it hits home.
Yeah.
For that one.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorites, also a book. I do enjoy book reading. When I'm not taking 18 credit hours and working 40 hours a week.
Yep.
So I'll get back into that eventually. Mystic River.
Never missed. No.
Definitely a night you and Tim Marie need to.
So that's
watch.
a move. That's
It's
a movie.
Sean Penn and Tim Robbins. Phenomenal.
How about Tony Robbins? You like him?
No.
Hey, he talks like this. You know, he's a motivational.
I don't even know if I know who he is.
He's the world's biggest motivational speaker. I was out there the other day.
But I will say, like, in the recent years, I'm more of a, like, series type girl. Like, I watch more TV series than I watch movies. Mystic River, everybody should put that on their list. It's phenomenal. That is a phenomenal. I cried so hard during that movie. It's ridiculous.
So were you a Harry Potter girl or anything?
I was not a Harry Potter girl. My girls are Harry Potter people. I never got into it. I don't even think I've seen a full movie of Harry Potter, and shame on me for saying that.
I got Dobby right there.
They were Twilight girls, so
Well,
we went to every midnight viewing of a Twilight show.
Oh yeah, but Edward Cullen is now
Dude.
Batman,
I
and
know. What in the world?
he was good. He
Was
was
he
good.
Okay, I need to go see it then.
Like, I've watched them all. Every Batman. I've seen all the Twilights.
So was he better than Christian Bale? I thought Christian Bale was my favorite.
Christian Bale's my Batman. Like, Christian Bale was in the era where, remember, I was sitting at the theater that night when they stopped the movie. Like, Christian Bale's always been my Batman. Yeah. But when there was 2 theaters that throughout the United States at the premiere, that were shot up by people pretending to be Batman, or Joker.
Yeah.
And so I was at that, and they shut it off. We sat there for an hour and just like frozen and scared. Someone came out and explained to us that. I mean, it was one of the scariest moments ever because we're just thinking like, should we go home? And the police officer.
But you want to see the rest of the movie?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we stood in line for 3 fucking hours.
Oh
like,
my god!
But Christian Bale's always going to be my Batman. But man, I forget his name right now. I mean, I just want to call him Edward Cullen. But what is his name?
Oh shit!
Hayden Pattinson. Robert Pattinson.
That's it.
Yeah, those fireball shots, they really the name's just
Robert
wrong.
Pattinson, that's it. Yep.
But there is an era there in the middle. I was a big fan of like Cliffhanger, Stallone movies. Those were really cool, like the Rockies and older movies like Grease. I like Grease.
I love Grease.
I mean, John Travolta is definitely creepy these days.
He is, but back then he was like the
snack?
shit.
He was a snack.
Yeah, he was the shit.
Was he your hottest guy when you were younger?
No,
Because that'd be in your snack era.
that would probably be like John Stamos, Ricky Schroeder.
John Stamos is just.
I know,
that's
which
just,
is so. But I'm just being real. Like those are the ones that those were the snacks in my era. Tom Selleck, I still think is a snack.
Did you see that we just had a Bob Saget lookalike on the podcast? Oh, he's identical. I mean, the splitting image.
Cried.
Splitting image. Yeah, I introduced him as Bob Saget. The thumbnail for our podcast episode was Full House. Yeah. I can't believe you didn't see that.
I didn't see that one.
Oh,
I
yeah.
try to watch them every week.
Try to watch what? Full House?
No, you're the Shot 30 podcast.
You've really watched an episode before?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, so that's just a screenshot that I have. But,
Oh, Lord.
I mean, he is 100% splitting image of Bob Saget. Everybody knows it. Like, and he calls himself the ghost of Bob Saget. But
I have an uncle that we don't really talk to because he's kind of a dick, but he looks exactly like David Spade.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. Like they've been at restaurants before and got
Ooh, free
priority
food?
seating and and all that, special deets because he looks exactly like David Spade. It's weird.
Has anybody ever thought you were a celebrity?
No.
Never once?
No.
Has
Do I
anybody
look
said
like a celebrity?
I mean,
I look like my brother. My brother and I are the most identical people in the entire world.
he's got long hair?
No, but have you ever done the Snapchat filter where, to make yourself look like a dude?
Yeah.
Him and my dad and I look like the exact same person. And then my middle daughter, Gracie, looks exactly the same.
Tim Reed did it. I'm gonna tell you right now, she's a hot ass dude, man. Like she was a hot dude.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, she had that predominant jawline. Like she was looking like a snack.
It's so freaky.
Well, so when you were younger, what did you want to do? I mean,
When I was younger, I wanted to be a lawyer.
I could see that.
Yep.
I think you.
Well, dude, you got to be a Karen to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
So, if you can get in touch with your inner Karen, I wanted to be a lawyer
I hope you're
because
not mad at me for saying that you have some Karen-y.
No,
but I like Karen.
I think everybody has some Karen-y in them, and but I don't think everybody displays it. I think some people internalize it and some people externalize it. I feel like sometimes if you have a bad experience, so like McDonald's, McGillicuddy's, that how are people going to learn if you don't leave them a bad review?
Wait, I totally do understand. I honestly just, there's the over the top but I guess
and it isn't like it wasn't verbalized at the time. Like it was like, really, you have no liquor? Well, no, we don't have a liquor license right now. Do you think maybe you'd put a sign up that says that, or like let people know that before they sit down and order brown sugar salmon and
Well, that's why you always pocket a flask.
But I will tell you, the brown sugar salmon was through the roof. I still have not had brown sugar salmon that tasted.
You said you
good.
will never go back, though.
I won't. Yeah. Well, they're not open now.
Well, then, thank God, your fucking review, it made an impact, my friend. Okay, so
Reviews are important. That's how people know when they did not live up to the expectation of the customer.
I mean, but when does anybody ever? Because this podcast, it could have
I
100
feel like
people.
a lot of people do.
Well, this podcast could have 100 people that are like, "Wow, this is my favorite podcast ever," and then 100 people that say,
Yeah.
I fucking hate it every
Opinions
second
are a
of
dime
it."
a dozen.
You cannot appease anybody. The
No.
number one thing that you have to appease is yourself.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when you have to speak up, it's to appease yourself. Sometimes I've listened to like Timmery. She'll like be like the happiest person in the world and be like, "No, fuck that person." Like she gets mad
Yep.
or like, and I know that she just needs to say or do whatever she needs to do. Because it's going to make her feel better about what happened.
Yeah.
I'm just super reserved. I like to get on my little podcast and hide behind my mic and then post it. Where I can delete comments and no one can get me.
Yeah.
Like but we're all such different people and we all are. Some of us are adapting and growing. Some of us aren't. So we just stay the same people every single day for our whole lives, and that's a problem. Like you should always be learning and learning.
Strive for learning and growing.
Even if you don't change, like if you hear something and don't change, it doesn't mean. Just listen, hear people, and understand them, and it's a very easy concept.
And I think a lot of people so I work HR. So there are times people come into my office and they just want to vent, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think it's important to know that sometimes they don't want you to give them a solution. They just want to be heard. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where sometimes society fucks up. Is because we listen to answer, we don't listen to hear people. We don't listen to just understand them. I, for example, don't always want a solution. I just want to be able to vent the problem. I don't need you to solve my problem. I just want to vent that this is an issue and that this is something that I'm going to have to come to grips with and find a solution for. I don't need an answer. I don't need it.
So what you're saying is so crazy because I actually tell people I'm just venting to you right now. I don't need I just need to say it. It's going to make me feel better. Some people go like, then why are you telling me?
Because I think it's human nature.
But it's also like, just listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do this. I don't need you to make my mistake. I don't need you to tell me what the mistake is that I'm going to make.
Yeah.
If you tell me to do this and my whole life comes breaking down, I don't need you to be at fault for what I do.
Right.
But it is, we're just such complicated creatures, man. And it really is.
I take it back to kind of so let's step back a couple of years into the beginning of COVID, right? Mm-hmm. So in the beginning of COVID, if any of you don't know, I work in corrections. Shane used to work in corrections. His beautiful wife, Timmery, beautiful, smoking hot wife, Timmery.
Why didn't I get described as the beautiful Shane I got?
Beautiful Shane with the angel wings. Because Timmery isn't here, and so we need to give her a little love. So I work corrections. So in the middle of this pandemic, we were essential workers. We didn't get to go home. We didn't get to work from home. We didn't get to work remote. We didn't get to save gas. We didn't get to save our mental fuckery that was going on at the time. And there was a lot happening at the time. And every single day, policies and procedures would change and things would get nuts. And I worked our command center at the time. And at the time, it was a lot. I was doing, a lot of jobs at one time. I was covering for, a couple different people. One job where there was nobody, and then another job where somebody might be gone once in a blue moon. And I will tell you, COVID changed the mentality of the world. So I have never seen a psychologist in my entire life until COVID. And when COVID hit, work was a lot. There was a lot expected of me. There was a lot changing every single, we might put out a procedure at 9 a.m. and it was changed by 11. It was changed again by 3 o'clock.
And your own fears of what is going on.
Yeah, and how do I protect my family? How do I make sure that I go home and I don't give them something, blah, blah, blah. So there's so much going on at that time. But the one thing COVID taught me was that what might be the worst time in my life, so all the changes, all the stress, all the added duties, all the extra things that I was doing, that was bad. It was not a fun time for me. It was stressful. But it also, hand in hand, taught me that I could do more things than I ever thought was possible. So in the middle of COVID, I was working 10, 11-hour days. I was taking 18 credit hours in school. I was a 4.0 student. I was named Employee of the Year. I did so many things that I never, ever thought were possible. I was given carte blanche to kind of do some things because people believed in me. So when management believes in you to be able to carry out some programs and carry out some things, those are what make great employees, even though it was stressful. Like, so it's weird. There's a balance in there that it was a stressful time in my life, but it was an empowering time in my life because I did things that I never would have pushed myself to do had I not been put in that situation. So going back to psychology, you're going to have to edit that.
I'm not. It's not going to be edited. Just so you know.
So going back to seeing a psychologist, I felt a little overwhelmed at a point in time, and I felt like I wasn't serving my family as well as I could. I wasn't as good of a wife as I could have been, and I wasn't as good of an employee as I could have been. And so I finally made an appointment, and I felt so guilty for making an appointment with a psychologist because I felt like I have failed myself.
Because you thought you were doing something wrong?
Right, because I think society thinks that mental health is important, but yet we shouldn't have mental health issues. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I made this appointment, and of course I went in, and head held low, and I felt so... I am such a shitty person. Why am I here? I just can't handle life. Da, da, da. And I met with my psychologist, and I went in, and she's so amazing. I won't name her, but she's amazing. And so she's sitting across the couch from me, and she was like, why don't you tell me what's going on? And I literally started bawling. All of those emotions were just a vent up inside of me, and I started bawling, and I explained to her all that's going on, and an hour and 20 minutes later, and she says to me, it's okay. This is normal. And everybody has issues like this, and it's no big deal. And you're not in a crisis situation. You don't need me every single week. You need me maybe once a month just to listen to you. And that's what I'm here for. And in that moment, it made me think, why does society put such a negative connotation on mental health? Because I left that day and I was a completely different person. I felt validated that how I felt was normal. I felt a weight come off my shoulders that somebody listened to me and offered nothing but just honest care and feedback. But we put this negative connotation with mental health, and I think it's so wrong. Yeah. I feel like mental health should be like, we should have a mental health checkup every year, just like we have a physical health checkup.
Everybody should.
Everybody.
Every single human being.
It's so important. So if you don't have a psychologist, get one.
Or just go to BetterHelp, man. You can do it from home. You're just
She's
talking
amazing.
on the phone.
Yeah.
There's a million different routes. I was the same way. Yeah. You know, like I was in a horrible marriage. I was in life was so terrible for me. And all it took was being just noticed for me to feel like a different person.
Yeah.
And then as I was struggling, they put me on depression medication. They put me on all these different things. And here I am now with Timmery, which is such a light and such a great life that it's life-changing. But in no world can I tell the person that I'm in love with, or that I'm with, that my life is ruined right now. I'm not going to bring you down. And I mean, it just caused me to getting to a point where I wanted it just to be over with.
And don't you think it's important to note that those those roads we navigate that are difficult lead us to those roads that we navigate that are easy.
Yeah.
Like, if you wouldn't have went through that difficult path, would you have gotten to that easy path with Timmerie? No.
Absolutely not.
Right. So I really think it's important for people to understand that if you're having a difficult time, number one, reach out to somebody who loves you. Reach out to your spouse, your children, your sibling, your parents, an aunt, an uncle, somebody who loves you, a friend, somebody who loves and cares about you, because you are worthy and you are important to someone in this life, and you have changed someone in this life's mindset. Someone might have thought, this is my last day on earth. Mm-hmm. I can't do it anymore. And you might have went by them and been like, Shane, you made me feel amazing today. And he went, you know what? I'm going to keep going. So we all have the ability in us to be nice, be kind, be acceptant. This kind of goes back to why we started. What brought us together for this podcast is, body shaming and loving people is so important. And body shaming was kind of one of the things we started talking about was, Shane was wearing these angels and people thought that he was gay and people thought negatively of him. And number one, what is it your business?
It's not.
It's not. Number two, it takes a fuck ton of confidence to rock the shit out of something that is unexpected. And I give all the glory in the world to God that he puts that in some people's mindset that they can do those things. And I had a conversation with a family member of mine who doesn't really talk to us anymore, so we'll just kind of keep that at that. About the time that Lizzo was really hot, right?
Yeah.
So Good as Hell, she's a bad bitch, right? She has some great music. My girls love Lizzo. They love her music. They love her confidence. They love her expressiveness. And this family member of mine said, she's so gross. She's gross. She's just gross. And I went, why is she gross? Why is she gross to you? She's fat. And it hurt my heart that I was related to a person who took such validity in what someone's appearance was. And so I looked at that person and I said, she's gross how? Because she's confident, because she rocks the stage. She is such an empowering figure for young females. And I'll go back to this. Number one, Lizzo, you're amazing. So if you hear this,
dude, if Lizzo hears this, come on the fucking
shout
show.
out to us, because to me, Lizzo is the epitome of what we should want women to be today.
Absolutely. And she's gorgeous.
She is gorgeous, because gorgeous isn't always what's on the outside.
But she is gorgeous.
And it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what your exterior looks like. It's what your interior looks like. Is she confident? Fuck yes, she is confident.
That's the number one thing she rocks.
She gets on that stage and she doesn't give two shits less about what people say about her. And that is what is so amazing about her. And I think back to me being younger. Obviously, I'm 48. Yeah, 48. I had to think about that for a second. So I'm 48. And
48 with a couple shots.
Right. So when my girls were younger and we would go to water parks, of course, I felt like I'm the mom. I need
Wacky
to be
Waters?
No, Wacky Waters was closed by then. But anyway, so I would do the One Piece because I'm a mom. I should be, conservative. And who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Like, every single woman, when they sit down, have roles. Every single woman, every single man, when they sit down, has roles. It's life.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're an ugly person. It doesn't mean that you're less relevant than the next person. And then, you add into the fact that I watch these young girls nowadays, my kids' age, and they give two shits less whether they're rocking a two-piece. Amen, sister. Because it's a time to embrace your body. And I feel ashamed. I feel bad that I felt like I had to be closeted as a mother. Because I will tell you, Like, I had 3 kids, and my husband will vouch for it. I looked exactly the same after having 3 children as I did when I got married. I did not gain weight from pregnancy, which is rare. It it is, but it isn't rare. So some people do, some people don't. Does it matter? No. But I felt like because I was a mom, I needed to be hidden, I needed to be conservative. That's bullshit. Like, I wish back then I would have rocked the fuck out of a bikini because I could have. What killed my metabolism was chemotherapy.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
chemo kicked my ass. I gained 50 pounds in 6 months of doing chemo. 50. Now, I worked my ass off about 3 months late, or about 3 years later, and I lost that 50 pounds, but I've gained it back. But I will tell you, at 113 pounds, I wasn't healthy. At 185, I'll be completely honest. I'm 185 pounds right now. Do I feel healthy? No. But am I happy? Yes. My happy space is right at around 160 pounds. It's where I feel fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. It's where I feel like I can rock clothes. I can look and feel awesome. I can feel like my boobs rock, my butt rocks. I mean, they don't make songs about little butts. They make songs about big butts. Like, because dudes like that stuff. But I think it's important for people to know that size doesn't matter. It's what's inside that matters. It's your confidence level. It's your, like Shane was confident enough to put on those angel wings and those fishnets. That's hot, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, that is something that a woman might look at and go, dude, he's a confident motherfucker. Like, that's amazing.
It was just kind of scary, but like, you even with you talking about each step throughout time, it is kind of you've been led to believe there needs to be that sort of fear. And we live in this sort of time. Like, I mean, you remember the 90s are different than the 2000s to the 2010 to the 2000. So when we get led to believe like, whoa, this is wrong, it's not necessarily the way you think or feel. It's just everyone else. And sometimes you don't want to take all the shit but people like Lizzo or people like, that are doing these powerful, impactful things. It is the reason why we go, wait, why did we think this way? Or why did those people think this way? When this is very simple. It's just about everybody's own confidence. And if I stand very true to, so we are very close with Be Humble Gym. It's a gym for just special needs only athletes. And, when they post, it is like my buddy Ben, he'll post anything in the world, like him singing, dancing, and I look at him and he just shuts off the rest of the world. Now, sometimes I get on TikTok and see somebody who could have Down syndrome, and then it's them, like a video of them defending themselves, like, I'm not what you say I am because people are just being jerks. Well, it's turning into a place and a time where the jerks are the bad guys, not the good guys, because it was the jocks and the bullies and the things like this that were you're the cool guys, right? Yeah. And there was 2 separate classes. Well, now guess what? Like these people who are the ones who were bullied, now we're gonna getting a bigger voice than the ones who are talking shit.
It's almost like the narrative has changed a little bit. You know what I mean? To where those people, we respect them more.
Yeah.
We do and we don't. Like there's those of us who are like I'll see a TikTok and it's a Down syndrome kid. I'm bawling in the middle of the night. Like I'm watching it and I'm like, this is so impactful. This is so amazing that we can do these things. And then there are other people who are like, I don't think we're ever going to get rid of those 2 sides, but every step that we take to make sure that those voices are heard, that the people of Special Olympics, that the people with Down syndrome, that the people with cancer, that all of those lesser heard people are heard, that's how we make a difference.
And also how we make a difference is the same thing of just because I have a acne, or if I have alopecia, or if I'm missing an arm or a leg, like if anything, if I have breast cancer, and all the well, those people, in what way does that make them less beautiful? It's the same thing.
Correct.
It's from inside their heart. I mean, yes, people have physical attractions toward different people. Yes, just like some people like football, some people like basketball. Some people like to jog, some people like to play video games. There's a difference in everything. Yes, I can understand that, something, you don't want to be with a guy who plays video games all day. But there is a girl out there who plays video games all day that would love to be with that guy. And there's just your world being different than my world or anybody else's world doesn't have to be a problem. It can be a solution, honestly. A solution that my page or my podcast or my TikTok videos or my pictures may not be for you. But that means just move on. It doesn't mean that you're going to you're not coming to me to bring me down. And my voice and my body and my family and my friends and the people who I love and support, I know they got my back. And that's enough for me to be better than you. Because not that I want to be, but if you're trying to bring someone down, then you're a problem. And you're a problem I'm not going to
And I think that comes into the Lizzo thing. The people who are talking about Lizzo being fat or ugly or gross or all those negative words. She's not. She's not any of those words.
She's successful.
She is a bad bitch who is confident, knows her worth, knows her audience, emulates respect and power in every sense of the word. But those people who disregard that and talk negatively about her, they have personal issues. And I feel like that's so valid to the people. There's so many people I know who are thin. They fit that beautiful narrative, but they have the ugliest hearts.
Yeah.
I think sometimes they think they're better than everybody else, and they don't recognize that makes them ugly. That they go, oh my God, look how fat she is. Oh my God, look how gross she is. She's so gross. That's so wrong. And I have 3 girls who are all completely different personalities, body types, loves and things they love, things they do. And I love each one of them the exact same for different reasons. I love my middle daughter's humor and creativity. I love my oldest daughter's drive and determination, and she loves sports. I love my youngest daughter's freeness and she's carefree, she's free, she's emotional. There are things, and I think that's where we lose each other along the way, is that we're not looking at the things that we can love about each other. We're turning that narrative negatively, and we're looking at the things that we can say, you're worse than me. Why?
But the number one thing that you say here is the point. You say we, and that's not we. That is not we. There is an amazing group of people that are looking at life from the perspective that you're looking at it.
Yes.
There is a dark line out there, but that dark line doesn't have to be a majority. And it's the people who you just believe in your cause, believe in your love, believe in your life, and love. You just literally described, I love art and creativity. I love sports and drive. I look at these things. I love being emotional. I wasn't emotional. There's so many of these things. You just described all 3 girls, and I looked at myself and heard each thing that you said. And I thought about how much those things are important to me. I've been drugged through the dirt in many different ways, and I've lost a lot of love. And when I got married for the first time, I had 10 guys standing up for me at my wedding. I only have one of those men in my life today.
Yeah.
And that one person means more than all of those others in a million ways. And that is just like we said earlier, that is the most powerful thing. That one person means so much more than everything, like I don't need that. What I need is sometimes, just like we said, sometimes to have someone listen to you, someone hear how you feel. You don't need an answer. You don't need me to tell me, I don't need you to tell me what to do. I'm just venting to you. But I can't believe how fast we blew through an hour and a half of this thing. Do you want to do one more shot?
We might have to do a 2.0.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to have you back. Yeah. This was so much fun. Are you doing another one?
I'm not, because I'm going to pee my pants.
I'm almost ready to pee my pants as well.
Speaking of depends, we need a depends advertisement.
I don't know if I could ever willingly pee my own pants. I just don't think I could bring myself to do it. Do you ever think
about that, the astronaut lady who drove for 2 fucking days with a depends on? That's so gross.
Yeah.
How did that not make you raw?
I mean, I can just tell you that I would not especially if I went doo-doo, I would just be
I'm just saying I'm not going to make it out of Matherville without having a urinate.
Well, I mean, there's a bathroom in our house. They built those. And, they've been around. All right. Do you have where you want people to follow any of your stuff? Do you want
don't need
anybody
to follow me at all. My only request is keep following Shane. He does an amazing job. And be kind, love people, and do your best.
Did you have fun?
I had a blast.
Oh, you're the best. Good job. That was awesome.
Woo-hoo!
Wow. Good job.